Hey folks, before we start with today's video, remember to subscribe as it really helps the channel. Number 1. Aries. When you fall in love with the right person, Aries, you can become surprised at how much you don't act like yourself. You're one of the most independent of the zodiac signs, but when you're falling head over heels, you find yourself rearranging your schedule and scaling mountains just to be able to spend time with them. You do this because you want to spend as much time as you can in their presence. Before meeting them, the thought of commitment maybe scared you a bit. You're the most energetic sign, the one with the most initiative, and one of the most active. You always thought a relationship would slow you down or get in the way of accomplishing your goals, but you've let this person into your heart and found that this isn't the case. Experiencing a real connection with someone has actually given you more motivation and inspiration to accomplish what you need and to chase your dreams. There's a newfound fulfillment and satisfaction in your achievements. Being able to share the glory of your successes with someone you cherish feels almost as good as crossing it off the list to have more time to dedicate to them. An infamous thrill seeker and risk taker, it's almost unbelievable how much you value the stability of your relationship over the adrenaline rush you're so addicted to. You prioritize their emotional well-being and giving them reassurance of security over engaging in the reckless behavior embedded in you. You won't admit this, but you secretly become dependent on your partner. Number 2. Taurus. You're set in your ways, Taurus, and you absolutely cannot stand change. You have a reputation for being stubborn, and it may seem like you're the least likely of the zodiac to change when you find love, but this isn't the case. You don't just jump into relationships. If you're going to rearrange your life, it's going to be for the absolutely right person. Though you appear cool and collected to the outside world, inside you're a hopeless romantic. And experiencing true love for you means welcoming the change that person brings into your life. This person starts to feel like a new constant. They become your source of comfort, and imagining a future with them becomes the very thing that eases the stress of transitions in your career, personal, and everyday life. You're grounded, set in your ways, and don't usually step outside of your comfort zone. When you fall in love, it is because you can truly picture a stable life with this person, and meeting this person has you viewing the world through their eyes. You begin to venture outside of your own interests and trying new things with them. You allow them to show you a whole new world, and you try out their interests and hobbies, expanding upon your own. They make you more receptive to experiencing new things, and even a little bit more open-minded. Opening you up doesn't stop there. Usually, you're an expert at hiding your true emotions, preferring to mask them or be left alone when it comes to them. Falling for the right person begins to reveal a more sensitive side to you. Ruled by the planet of love, Venus, it shouldn't come as too much of a surprise that beneath that hard exterior, you've got a soft side for the apple of your eye. You begin to feel more comfortable with not only being communicative and expressive when it comes to your feelings, but with sharing personal things with them that you've never shared with anyone else. Number 3. Gemini. Gemini, you equate routine and predictability with boredom. You're one of the most, if not the most, flirtatious of the zodiac signs. Naturally, you move on from conquest to conquest, losing interest quickly. Blame your player status on your insatiable hunger for variety. Your ever-changing nature doesn't make love always easy for you, but you are also the most adaptable sign. Once you meet someone that you can call both your soulmate and your playmate, they shouldn't be afraid of you going anywhere. Someone who is compatible with all of your personalities has the ability to tame your indecisive ways. You're no longer on your phone texting 20 different prospects. You're no longer at the bar flirting it up and using your irresistible wit to charm them. Your friends no longer hear about new flings as often as you open up your underwear drawer. You think about one person and one person only. They have caught your attention and held it. You're not getting it back anytime soon. You've lost your little black book. You actually find the time you spend alone with this person exciting. You notice yourself becoming in sync with your partner, so much so that you never find yourself bored with them. You're always having fun with them, even when you're doing the most mundane of things. The right person will make your restless spirit feel at home. Falling in love makes your soul feel like it wants to settle for once. For the first time, you find yourself feeling comfortable around somebody else, other than yourself. The social butterfly in you doesn't mind spending a low-key Saturday night in, so long as it's the two of you together. Number 4. Cancer. Cancers. You're the emotional heart of the zodiac. You are guided by the heart and by your emotions. It's true that your mercurial nature and fleeting emotional patterns can have you crushing often and on many. But when you find true love, it is a very serious matter. Ruled by the moon, the lunar cycles only deepen. You watery depths and intensify your mysteries. You're a constant sea of feelings, coming and going with each wave. You're deeply sensitive and intuitive. All of this makes you one of the most challenging zodiac signs to get to know, and you don't usually feel comfortable letting people do so. It is when you fall in love that you surprise yourself. You want nothing more than to bond with this person and be close to them. You peel yourself back to open up the universe inside you to them. You become vulnerable when you fall deeply for someone. Being that you're so giving, hypersensitive, loyal to a fault, and self-sacrificing, you may have had your trust in the world broken at a young age. You know you're falling in love when you become vulnerable in front of someone and when you feel like you can trust them. In a healthy, loving relationship, you let go of all your doubts, insecurities, and fears. You are so incredibly selfless and so used to taking care of everybody else's needs that you go out of your way for others. This translates into relationships, and you are undoubtedly the most generous lover of the zodiac. But once you give your heart away to one person, you start to expect no less from them and can quickly become disappointed if they don't reciprocate in effort, affection, and generosity. It's true that you want nothing more than to make your partner happy, but for once, you're letting somebody else take care of you and go above and beyond to make you happy. You're one of the most nurturing signs, and while you are busy protecting and caring for others, you neglect yourself. Falling in love, you are discovering what it's like to have somebody else do those things for you. And it feels so much more comforting than you could ever imagine. Number 5. Leo. Leo, you're a boss at everything that you do. There's nothing in any area of life that you cannot accomplish. You usually have it all together in your career, home, and personal life, but not always when it comes to love. You might be passionate and a true romantic, but the reality is that the idea of love has the power to terrify you because it means being vulnerable. Unless you feel out of this world sparks, you want nothing to do with it. And when you do find that person, you want to flash your love to the world like you do everything else. When you're in awe of someone, you no longer care to have everybody else be in awe of you. The attention you crave diminishes, and it doesn't mean as much as the one coming from your partner. It becomes the one you need the most. You may be the king of the jungle, but they rule in your heart. When you fall in love, you become hooked. You may be a lion, but you're a lion wrapped around their finger. They can push your buttons, and you can find them absolutely irritating. But even in those moments, you can't get enough of them. You stop being so stubborn because you genuinely just want your loved one to be happy. Their happiness begins to take priority over your own. You stop putting yourself first. For this very reason, you learn to let go and letting someone else have control. You're self-assured, confident, and don't ever want to appear as being anything but. You don't like anyone to see you struggle, and you have a hard time recognizing your flaws and mistakes. When you fall in love, all this changes, and you become more comfortable opening up about your insecurities. You no longer feel a need to try to hide them. You appreciate them putting you in your place and calling you out for your errors. You start to let someone else shine for once, and you don't mind the spotlight being taken from you. Number 6. Virgo. Virgo. With your high standards, everyone knows you'd rather be alone than settle. Love can be a challenge for you if you let your perfectionist tendencies get in the way. If you learn to keep your expectations realistic, you make the weed-out process easier. And once you do so, you can surprise yourself by coming across someone you actually find astounding. When you fall in love, you find yourself thinking of them often, and it's not their potential you're thinking about, but actually how much you find them fascinating. You learn to accept and be tolerant of imperfections. You stop being so critical. Even when you notice imperfections around you, in them and within you, you don't feel a constant urge to correct any of them. You usually feel the need to help others or to even fix people. But when you fall for someone, you don't see them as a fixer-upper or a project. You are tolerant of their flaws and don't feel a desire to change them. This pure acceptance is pure love. When you feel a deep connection with someone, you actually begin to learn to go with the flow a little more. You are sentimental but more practical. Beneath your cool persona, you have a soft and vulnerable heart. Your game is usually to use your charm and to turn to superficial communication to collect hearts. When you fall in love, you're not just winning their heart, but actually investing your own. It can be hard to get close to you. You have a rich inner life, and this makes you come off as shy, but connecting with someone on a deep level breaks you out of your shell. You're still a great listener, but you no longer use this to avoid opening up. You let down your walls and become less reluctant to share your secrets. It's hard to read you because of the innumerable thoughts dictating your behavior, and it's not easy for you to become comfortable. Even in moments where you feel relaxed, there usually isn't a freak out far behind. When you're in love, you're more relaxed, and you feel more serenity, because the right partner has the power to soothe your constant worries. Real love has you no longer spreading yourself thin and actually taking care of yourself. You become more open to receiving and don't just spend your time giving. You learn that being vulnerable doesn't necessarily mean you're being dependent. Number 7. Libra. You're very pragmatic about love, Libra. You believe that sometimes people come into your life for certain reasons and seasons. Combined with how social you are, you sometimes fall easily, only to become unenamored just as fast. The thing is, you're a romantic idealist. Whether you date or are the kind of Libra that is eternally single, you're constantly seeking balance, and you're very careful when choosing someone you are going to become serious with. Partnership is very important to you. When you find someone you're compatible with and can maintain harmony with, you can truly fall in love, and when you fall hard. You're very diplomatic and normally run away from conflict with others. In relationships, it's common for you to keep your feelings, thoughts, and opinions to yourself in order to keep the peace and to avoid losing your partner. You may even be prone to be conforming for them. But when you find true love, you learn to expose your true feelings. You no longer just connect on the surface level. You let go of being a people pleaser because this person balances you out and needs you as much as you need them. You feel free to say whatever you want to say, to be honest, and to have a differing opinion without fear that it will change their feelings for you. You're usually oscillating between two extremes. But when you find a true connection with someone, you feel more like yourself than you ever have. They bring out the real you, and you even find yourself focusing on yourself more. Love has taught you that in order to be able to make others happy, you have to learn how to make yourself happy first. You stop obsessing over beautiful things and appreciate substance more. You no longer preoccupy yourself with the outer image you portray to the world or with the opinions of others. Your insecurities about what others may think will disappear. The only thing that matters to you is your partner. Number 8. Scorpio. You can run hotter and colder than most, Scorpio. Your lovers are either vying for your constantly shifting attention, or you're all in it in a committed relationship. What's certain is that you fight intimacy every step of the way. You don't like feeling vulnerable, and you definitely don't trust people. In fact, you've probably ended a relationship out of the blue for this very reason. But it is amazing how much of an open book you can become when you really fall in love. Falling in love makes you more comfortable in your vulnerability. You stop making excuses to push them away and actually want to be as close as you can to them. Your ultimate act of love is letting someone in. You know you're in love when you trust them, even sharing those emotions you would otherwise bottle up inside. It's not easy to get to know you. You're secretive, your inner workings forever a mystery. But love opens you up beautifully. You stop closing yourself off to protect your heart. You stop being spiteful and vengeful when you feel hurt, learning that retaliation is immature, and not feeling the need to punish them or get back at them. Instead of being passive-aggressive or vindictive, you communicate your pain and anger. You stop thinking that being expressive is a sign of weakness. You learn to stop being so hard and unforgiving, not just with your significant other, but with yourself. You accept that mistakes are just a part of life, and you grow with dignity from them, instead of punishing yourself or others. Number 9. Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you are prone to having open relationships or dating casually, as opposed to committing yourself to someone seriously. You're the sign of the hunter and the chase thrills you. You have an urge to travel the world and experience everything. The idea of being tied down to a significant other can make you feel burdened and trapped. You value freedom the most, so choosing to commit yourself to one person who can steal it away from you is not a decision you make hastily. Some say you're one of the least likely to change when it comes to love, but ever the idealist, when you find someone open, expressive, exciting, and that you crave to explore the world with, who you've always dreamed would be the one, you actually adapt well to giving up the liberties you've always been attached to. When you fall in love with someone, you stop feeling so restless and don't mind being tied to one person. Your love of travel remains embedded in you, but for the first time in your life, you feel happy to stay in one place. With the wrong partner, you can lose interest once things hit a plateau and the newness has worn off. But once you meet the right person, you're never bored and you find yourself wanting to share your thirst for adventure with them. You're notorious for your cool logic, and it overrides emotion for you. You're direct and blunt and can even lack a filter, saying whatever comes to mind. In love, you change when it comes to your sensitivity. You consider your significant other's feelings and grow more patient when it comes to emotions. After all you want to do is make them laugh. Seeing them smile is of utmost importance to you. It's not in your nature, and you won't admit this, but you can become a little possessive or jealous. Number 10. Capricorn. You're so grounded in your personality and values that it's a struggle for you to change in a relationship. You'd rather be single than do so. You're usually cautious when it comes to relationships and may have even passed up a love or two in your lifetime. With the right love, you learn how to act and how to let your walls break. The right partner also teaches you how to compromise. You know you're in love when you stop expecting the worst because you finally have the best. Love usually makes you feel sick. You get that nauseous, nervous, stressful, and anxious feeling, but when you're truly in love, you feel comfortable around them. You stop being so overly concerned with ruining things or things going wrong. You feel at ease with your partner in an environment that can only be described as serene and secure. You rarely indulge in emotional exchanges and can even be considered cold and distant. In love, you actually give words of affection. Once your heart melts, you're not reluctant to show your partner how deeply your love flows. No matter how flirty you are, you won't stray, even if you have a history of doing so in the past. You're a workaholic, and in the wrong relationship, this isn't a trait that changes. But in the right relationship, your mindset changes, and you dedicate more time to your significant other. You're more than happy to cut back on work to spend quality time with them. You stop being so unforgiving and learn how to accept the differences in the character of others that may be very far from your own. Number 11. Aquarius. Aquarius, it's hard for you to imagine being with someone, especially for life. The idea of a relationship can make you feel even more limited or constrained. You are fiercely independent and guard that independence. However, you are also an idealist who believes in true love. You can be prone to casual connections, but once you find someone who can be both your soulmate and best friend, you know you've found true love. You're usually set on being independent. You value your space and need alone time to keep yourself sane. In love, especially during the honeymoon stage, you find yourself craving to be around your significant other all the time. You don't feel bored and you're always surprised. You're one to run from emotional expression and you distance yourself when it comes to your emotions. Being in love changes you for the better, in the sense that you start to be open with how you're feeling, and even become honest with yourself about it. Love teaches you to let your guard down, and you actually feel more content with the idea of being able to be transparent about your feelings with someone. Number 12. Pisces. You're known for swimming from lover to lover because you are in love with the idea of love. You love being in love. You want to be in love. Ruled by Neptune, the planet of fantasy. You dream of a fairy tale and being swept off your feet. You're overly trusting and a hopeless romantic. It's for this very reason that you got hurt early in life, trusting too easily, giving pieces of your heart away to anyone who might have shown the slightest affection. It is now hard for you to let people in or to trust easily. When you find real love, this fear disappears and you learn how to leave the past in the past. Where you might have been passive-aggressive or quiet when it came to your feelings and desires in the past, when you're in love with the right person, you become more assertive. You're clear and direct about what you want or need. You find your voice when you find love, and you're not afraid to use it. You actually become less tolerable of being walked on in relationships. Love makes you a stronger version of yourself. Love also teaches you people won't use your flaws or mistakes to hurt you. You don't retreat into your fantasy world as often, and you find yourself inspired by your significant other, not having to look for musings for your creativity elsewhere. A huge homebody? It's a surprise that love draws you to more activities that fall outside of your comfort zone. You really put yourself out there, and not just with your partner, but you dive into trying new things and having new experiences.